Hey everyone, this is Andrew, also known as Rocky's Magic Number on Purple Row. I'm here to bring up 3 issues today. Actually, I lied. We're going to make that 4 issues today. First issue, Brad Hawpe. Fan, not a fan. Same time, I like the guy. I'm sentimental about the guy. And look at his first half numbers last year. He was an all-star. He batted like 700 or something like that. And okay, no, not 700. You see where I'm going with this. He was the only producing bat during the first half, which is saying something because the entire team had the whole fear of getting Clint Hurdle fired during the entire first half of the season, and it just ended up being incredibly unproductive, except for Brad Hawpe and I guess Jason Marquis, but we're just looking at bats now, aren't we? Anyhow, the upside of Brad Hawpe is that when he's hot, he carries the team, and he's good when he's hot. Downside of Brad Hawpe, can't field worth a lick. Yes, he has a strong arm, not enough. Only a few guys have arms as strong as Brad Hawpe, and a lot of people make recognition of this. But the problem with it is that if you can't get to the ball well, you can't throw people out. That's the problem with Brad Hawpe. No one runs on him anymore either. You don't see his kill rate as high as it used to be because people he holds people, which is, definitely a positive. I'm not trying to take the fact that they're not running and hold it against him. It's just that the only people who do run are the fastest, and he typically doesn't catch them anymore. And, well, then he just can't field the ball very well, so there's another big problem. Second problem with Brad Hawpe is the fact that his second half was terrible. He lost his stride. Maybe it was an all-star break thing. That seems to be a curse for some players. I mean, look at Matt Holliday in 2008. Just fell apart after the all-star break. Or was it 2007? Either way, all-star break. Apparently not that great for Rockies batters. I like Hawpe as a sentimental thing. He was one of the Gen R guys. Apparently, according to Tracy Ringlesby in Baseball America, he is the best prospect we drafted in the decade because we got him in the 11th round for dirt cheap, and he's been very productive. Now, see, year to year, I like Hawpe, but the problem with that is that we needed him second half, and he just wasn't there second half. I mean, I guess it turned out all right. We got the wild card, we won, but he was pretty much a liability in all aspects of his game. When he's batting 330 and having an OPS over 900, yeah, you'll forgive the bad glove. Just look at Adam Dunn. But when, he stinks at batting and he stinks at fielding, that's why he got benched in game 4 of the playoffs. You can't put up with that. He's making $7 or $8 million next year with a $10 million option on the next year. Not that bad. Problem is that we have Carlos Gonzalez, Seth Smith, Dexter Fowler, Ryan Spilborghs, all looking for playing time. I'd argue that Seth Smith, Dexter Fowler, and Carlos Gonzalez is a far better outfield defensively and offensively. But, if he's on the roster, we're going to play him. He has the whole veteran leader thing going on in a lot of respect. If we just benched him for the entire season, then can you imagine the fan fallout? I don't want to see it. Whatever. My thought is with the money freed up, we might be able to put it to either toward a Houston Street extension, which is kind of a debated thing, but the guy's only like 25, 26. I don't see why we need to put more we can't put more thought into an extension. I mean, I know we're trying and the camps aren't meeting, and that's not entirely as if we're not trying, but I mean, I don't know. I want to make more effort on keeping Street. I like Houston Street, but we're not talking about Houston Street right now. I want to talk about Orlando Hudson. I'm not a gigantic fan, I won't lie. His glove has been declining, but he still has a strong bat. He showed us that in LA last year. Yes, it faded down the stretch. He's coming to a hitter's park. That's going to help him at least somewhat. I'm not saying is the biggest hitter or pitcher's park in baseball, but it traditionally plays a bit more on the pitching side of things. I could check the splits this year, but whatever, I'm not going to right now. Hudson had a monstrous April. April alone made Ned Colletti look like a genius, and anything that makes Ned Colletti look like a genius, that's got to make someone else look like a super genius, or just doing their job like normal, making good decisions. What a concept. Anyhow, Orlando Hudson at second base. Sure, maybe he's not ideal defensively anymore. He's not miserable, and we can always put Barmes in later innings to replace him. I want a hot bat coming into the rotation. I want a hot bat in my lineup first thing in April. Because what do we do in April? The Rockies stink in April. The Rockies are very bad at April. Now, 2009 you can almost excuse because it was kind of a weird Clint Hurdle, don't want to get him fired kind of thing. But Tula was flat. And everyone else was flat, except for Brad Hawpe apparently. And I just think we could use a little bit of extra charge in the lineup, which is kind of ironic that I'm saying that we need more April charge when I'm also saying trade Brad Hawpe. You know what? Whatever. I'm thinking financially. I'm thinking getting better guys playing time. I think I want Hudson just because I want to have a name. I want to have a better second baseman. Barmes is a utility guy. Everyone knows he's a utility guy. And I mentioned this at one point, I think, in the comments on Purple Row, but the fact that there's not a bunch of really good second basemen anymore, except for, Chase Utley. People are having to promote these overblown utility guys and make them their starter. Now, it's a great PR move because you can say, oh, well, this guy who's been with our team and works really hard is finally getting a shot. No, it's because you don't have a better option. I mean, the next best option out there would probably be Felipe Lopez. I think some team's going to give him a 3 or 4 year deal and pay way too much for him. But then again, looking at where the winter meetings have gone so far, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's not going to get a monstrous deal. Maybe teams are actually wisening up a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, I would like to see Hudson, not long term, a 1 year deal, maybe an option. I think it would be cool. I really do. He showed that he could at least play most of the season last year, and he wasn't a terrible injury risk or anything like that. I thought he had a good season. I don't think he'd be a bad pickup. I didn't think he'd be a bad pickup in 2009 either. But you know what? Who listens to me anyhow? Probably not the front office. Not the point. Moving on. Pitching. Matt Daley is awesome. Write it down. Matt Daley is awesome. He posted a strikeout per 9 rate of like 9.8 last season. Only guys who were better than him at that were, let me think, Houston Street and Rafael Betancourt. Matt Daley also had one of the bigger workloads among the pitchers, pitching like 50-something innings. I think only Street pitched more innings than Matt Daley did last season. I want to keep him on the roster. I don't see why we're even thinking about optioning him just to make roster space for like a Matt Belisle or something like that. Even though we're looking at Matt Caps, I want to have as many Matts on this team as possible. Call up Scott Boras and get Holiday back too. I want as many Matts as we can stuff into one team. Yeah, I know. Seriously though, if we do pick up Matt Caps, we have a bullpen that includes Houston Street, at least for most of the season, Rafael Betancourt, Matt Daley, Matt Caps, Manny Corpus. Like him or hate him, there are some good things about him still. And then I guess Randy Flores and Franklin Morales, and then who knows? Mid-season we might have Casey Weathers making a run for the majors, and Taylor Buchholz should be back. That's a lot of bullpen. I like the way our bullpen looks. I really do. It's quietly awesome. No one knows who these people are except for obviously like Betancourt and Street. Everyone else is just kind of who's that guy? Oh wow, it's another Rockies call up. Awesome. Matt Daley just is the most underappreciated guy on this team. He doesn't have any big contract issues coming up, so you don't hear anything about him this offseason, and he quietly had a really decent season for himself, especially for a rookie. Go Matt Daley, you're the man. Finally, Rafael Betancourt is not the topic I want to talk about. I want to talk about Rich Harden. Rich Harden, awesome. I thought he was going to get a 3-year deal. I really did. I thought some team was going to massively overpay him, and then we were going to, say, oh, well, we couldn't afford to pay him. And I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't give Rich Harden a 3-year deal at this point. Not with his injury history. But Texas just picked him up for 1 year, $7.5 million, with an $11 million option on next year. Why can't we do that? I mean, granted, it's going to create a battle for the back end of the rotation between Francis and, Rich Harden. But why are we just giving the job to Francis right off the bat? We haven't proved anything from him yet, coming back from injury. And granted, Rich Harden's an injury risk. And if he gets hurt the first month of the season and doesn't play another day on his contract, sure, Tom Hicks looks like an idiot. But I don't know. I don't think it's a bad risk to take considering how good Rich Harden is. The guy is just phenomenal. One of the best strikeout guys in baseball. I think we should kick the tires on Ben Sheets, frankly, but apparently I'm hearing multi-year deal demands from him, even though he just came off surgery too. Hey, take a lesson from Rich Harden. Prove that you can get healthy again. Maybe you'll make more money. Because between Sheets and Harden, when they're healthy, it's hard to find pitchers who are that much better than them. I mean, there's really only a very small handful of them. Point is, I would just like to take a risk. Just a risk. It doesn't even have to be a gigantic risk. I would like to see the Hudson risk. Yes, it's a risk, and I think it'll be a good one to take. I want to see a pitching risk. But at the same time, they don't fit into our plans, and they're expensive and stuff like that. I think we're just afraid of another Denny Nagel or Mike Hampton incident. We're not gonna. Yes, anything could happen. That's a risk of being a professional franchise. But we got to take a risk some point. We got to stop playing chicken and saying, "Oh no, these guys are just gonna get hurt, and they're not gonna earn their contract." And get over it and try something just once, even if it's just a 1-season contract. Kick the tires on someone. If it fails, sure, go back into your, hole because you saw your shadow, and it'll be 3 more years of cheapness and, well, okay, no, cheapness is the wrong word, but cost effectiveness, fair cost effectiveness. It is fair. I'm not trying to call the ownership cheap, but just, I don't know. I would just like to see a risky signing happening once that brought a name, a recognized name in. Because if it pans out, we're geniuses. If it fails, hey, we tried.